So last class we had discussed about the various currency types and we had discussed about the examples of whatever the currency types we define in SAP, how their way they're going to be assigned. Now we have created a company and we have created a company code. Last class we have created a company and we have created a company code. And this company code and the company has to be done with an assignment. Means okay, so as I discussed in the last class, a company can be assigned with multiple company codes actually. So where we are going to be assigning the company to company codes here. So when you go to the same path with enterprise structure, we have concept called as an assignment here. So here we need to provide the association between the company and the company codes. What are all the company codes which can be assigned to the company? Okay, so this assignment is very, very important actually. So where we are going to be doing that, okay? So when we come to the enterprise structure in the assignment, go to the financial accounting. Financial accounting. In the financial accounting, we have called as assign company code to company. Here, if you see here, assign company code to company. So here, only we are doing the assignment here. We are not defining any company code because already they have been defined. Already they have been defined. So only we are assigning the company to company codes over here. So how do we assign the company to company codes here? So what are all the company codes you have defined? Okay, those will be provided over here. The list of all the company codes will be available. You can see here. Otherwise, if you don't find, you can also go to the position. We can go to the position and we can identify what are all the company codes we have in our SAP. I mean to say we have defined over here. So that particular company code assignment to be provided. For example, understand that TA00. TA00 is nothing but my company code. CO code is nothing but my legal entity. And I am assigning here. If you see here, I am assigning the company here. These are the companies which are going to be available. So these all are going to be called as my trading partners. So which company you want to assign to which company codes. So this assignment is very, very important. Why? Because the transactions are going to be posted at the company code level. Any transaction, if you want to post in SAP, those transactions are entered at a company code level. So this assignment is very, very important. So once you assign here, the relationship between the company to company code means now here we have done with the assignment part of the company to company code. Now the basic important assignment has been completed from our finance side. That is assignment of company to company codes. So very, very important here. Very, very important here. So that is the one assignment. Okay. So that's what we have to do at the enterprise structure level. That's what we have to do at the enterprise structure level. Now, let me come to the currencies. So once you assign the company to company code, now there is a lot of differences there between SAP ECC to SAP S4HANA. Many people have been worked in SAP ECC. Most of in this batch. Okay, so most of you people have worked in SAP ECC. So when you, I think last class also I discussed very clearly about, okay, what are all the currency settings we are going to be making from the FI side and from the controlling side. The finance is a, and we have also discussed various tables also. What are the finance tables which are available in SAP ECC? Anybody? What are the line item level tables?
BSEG.
BSEG is the line item level table. What is the header table, sir?
BKPF.
BKPF. Very good, sir. Thank you, sir. So when you come to the finance, normally the finance is completely, we are going to be treated with the company code. Company code is the very, very important for the legal entity for the finance. Without the company code, there is no financial module. Without the company code, there is no financial module. So earlier, if you go back to your SAP ECC, if we go back to SAP ECC, a company code is assigned with only with three currency codes. Okay, very, very important. Okay, how many currencies can be set up for a company code earlier? Only 3 currencies. That is at the BSEG table level, line item level, table level. So only 3 currencies. The first currency, this is what exactly we call it as the. This is I'm talking in SAP ECC. First, there will be second, and there will be a third. So these are the 3 currencies. Third. These are the 3 currencies. First currency, second currency, and third currency. The first currency always will be called as your company code currency. It is a defaulted. It is a defaulted in SAP ECC. So whichever the currency you have been assigned. So when you go to a company code, we are assigning a one currency in a company code. That currency is called as a company code currency or a local currency. So the first currency type always will be 10. 10 is always called as a local currency or a company code currency. So, okay. And the second currency, second currency, these two are called as additional currencies actually. We call them as an additional currency in SAP ECC. So when I go into the SAP ECC here, okay, 1 minute, okay. So just 1 second, okay. So I just forgotten the path. Okay, I'll log into the SAP. I'm coming to the SAP ECC. This is the SAP ECC server. I'm logging to the SAP ECC server. Here, this is very, very important actually when you're writing a certification. So why we have to discuss about SAP ECC, why not with SAP S/4HANA directly means we have to know about this. We have to know about what are all the differences are there between SAP ECC to SAP S/4HANA. One second. Okay. So normally this is in SAP ECC I'm talking, not in SAP S/4HANA. So now in SAP S/4HANA, we call it as the central currency configuration. In SAP S/4HANA, we call it as the central currency configuration. So this is a new enhancement in SAP S/4HANA. So earlier, if you go back to your SAP ECC, normally when you come to the path of like this, okay, SPRO, IMG, financial accounting, new, financial accounting, global settings, new. When you come to the ledgers and ledgers here, we have an option called as define currencies of the leading ledger. I'll tell you what is the leading ledger and everything in the coming classes. Very, very important classes are there. Now, when I go to any company code, when I go to any company code, for example, I'll go for a standard company code, SAP best practice company code. This is called as SAP best practice company code in SAP ECC. Actually, we call it as, okay. So here, if you see here, now here, this is what exactly my company code, and assume that this is our company code, first currency, second currency, and the third currency. So these all the three currencies we are going to be maintained at the company code level actually. So company code is called as a legal entity, we told that. So when you see the first currency type, the first currency type is always defaulted with 10. 10 is the currency type actually. So defaulted with the 10 is going to be called as company code currency, or it is called as a local currency. Now you can see here, euro is nothing but my company code currency. If I go back and see which currency I have assigned to the company code. So if I go back and see here, if I go back to SPRO, IMG, if same thing, same path, like in SAP S/4HANA, enterprise structure, definition, financial accounting, and if I come to the edit, copy, delete, check company code, if I come to company code data, see here, this is my company code. If I double click on the company code here, you can see here, my company code is 1000 and which currency I have assigned to the company code euro. So this is the default called as a company code currency or a local currency. So here, what is happening? This is the currency type is going to be called as a 10. 10 is always called as a company code currency. It is a defaulted. And the second currency and the third currency. Now, these two are mainly useful for the reporting purpose. Normally, we are going to be using for the reporting purpose. So you cannot, okay, you can see the reports in the local currency. You can see the reports in other two additional currencies also. So the second one, normally every client, 99.9% of the projects will take as a 30 currency. 30 is going to be called as a group currency. My dear friend, there is a lot of differences there between the group currency and the corporate company currency. Very, very important. Most of the people, last class also we discussed, very important. 1 hour we spent on discussion about the currencies between the group currency and the global company currency. Can somebody can tell me what is the group currency and the global company currency? Group currency is always will be given with the currency type 30. 30 is a universal code. It's a universal currency type actually. So 30 means it is a group currency. 10 means it is called as the company code currency. 40 means it is called as the hard currency. Like these are the universal. Even in SAP S4 and also we have the same currency types. Now, can somebody can tell me what is the major difference? What is the major difference between the 30 where you're going to be calling it as a group currency, and we have one more currency type called as 60. 60 is going to be called as a global company currency. What is the difference here?
Group currency is at the client level.
Group currency is the client level. Okay, so can you one example, can you give me that? Okay, for example, if I have 4 companies and I have something about 30 company codes, okay, so like like 5 company codes have been assigned to one company, remaining the 18 company codes have been assigned to one company, and the remaining 12 company codes have been assigned to another company. So totally I have 3 companies with 30 company codes are there. All these are defined in the same client only. That is, my client is going to be called as my production client. Can you, somebody can tell me now what is the difference? How I can know this is a group currency and this is the company global company currency? So where do you define the global company currency? So we told that, okay, so we told we are talking about the 30 is nothing but we are talking about this is going to be called as my group currency. We defined at the client level. We defined at the client level. So irrespective of number of company codes, irrespective of number of company codes, if you have 30, 40, 50, 60 company codes are there. So for all the 60 company codes, there will be only one group currency, which is defined at the client level. Okay, that is very good. Now, what is this 60? Why we are going to be calling it as a global company currency?
Within the company, you have whatever number of company codes assigned to the company.
Okay.
So you have a consolidated report for that company for however many company codes you have assigned.
Exactly, absolutely right. Thank you very much, sir. So
this is nothing but alternative currency, right?
We cannot tell it as an alternative currency, sir. It is a currency where we define at the company level. Actually, see, for example, as okay, one of our friend is telling that number of company codes which are assigned to one company. I have one company which we call as a trading partner. Okay, so for that company, I have 20 company codes are there. So now at the company level, we are defining one currency that is called as my company global currency, which we call it as a global company currency. So we cannot call it as alternative currency. It is a reporting currency at the company level. Okay, sir, clear?
Sir, in a ECC, we have a concept of alternate currency. What is is the difference between alternate currency? Is that something is there in S4HANA as well?
So alternative currencies, normally we call it as a difference. So I'll tell you what is the alternative currency that is defined at the country level. I'll tell you what is the alternative currency. I'll come to, so these alternative currencies are different and the additional currencies are going to be different, sir. I'll discuss.
Okay, no problem, no problem. Just I don't want to mess it up the class here.
I understand.
Whenever you come across, you can explain.
No. Definitely everything we are going to be covering. So, okay, so that is completely different. I'll explain you the concept of alternative currency also. Okay, now in SAP ECC, the first currency, second currency, and the third currency. So first currency we know defaulted it is going to be called as a company code currency, and the second currency we are taking as a 30. 30 is going to be called as a group currency. Group currency is also same as my company code currency only. And we have third currency actually. Third currency, normally we can assign any currency type. Normally we can assign, so 10 is always called as a company code currency and 30 already we have taken. So the remaining 3 are there. What are the remaining three? One is going to be called as a hard currency. Second one is going to be called as index-based currency. See, 60 we are going to be talking, just now we discussed, which is called as the global company currency. So the third currency, either you can take 40, 50 or 60. 60 we know that. 60 anyhow we know that. 60 is called as a global company currency, which we are assigned at the company level. But what is this 30, what is this 40 and 50? See, normally, when you go for a countries, normally this 40 and 50 we maintain at country level. Very, very important, sir, all of you. 10 we maintain at the company code level. 30 we maintain at the group currency level, at the client level, and the 60 we maintain at the company level. But this 40 and 50 we maintain at country level, COUNTRY, country level, because when you take a country where the inflation rate is very, 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 very high. For example, I take one country which is called as the Cambodia. If you go to Asia Pacific, which is very near to Singapore, Thailand, okay? So there is a country called as the Cambodia. So normally, $1 is equal to something like they have the currency which the inflation rate is very, very high actually. So $1 is equal to something like, okay, they are going to spend something about 20,000 to 40,000 Cambodian riyals. 20 to 40,000, I don't know, something figure is between the 30 to 40 actually. So they will, $1 is equal to 20,000 Cambodian riyals. Cambodian dollars, actually, we call them as a Cambodian dollars. So means $1 is equal to 20,000. So when we go for this kind of currency type configuration, so what we are going to do here is nothing but, so we are going to be taking this hard currency and index-based currency. Now I'll go to the settings further. Now if I open a new session, if I go to SPRO, IMG, I'm coming to the alternative currency now, sir. I'm also coming to the alternative currency also, okay? So SAP NetViewer. And if I come to the general settings, and here, if I come to the countries, I take one country in SAP, which we call it as a Cambodia. Now here, these all the countries are available, okay? So these all the countries are which are available. Now you can find out your country, okay? So for example, I'll take as a Cambodia. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so KH. The country code is going to be for the Cambodia. The country code is called as the KH. Country codes are defined actually, which is standard SAP defined. No need to change anything, which is already for India. It is again for US. It is the US. For Singapore, it is the SG. Like a Cambodia, it is going to be the KH. If I go and if I select here. Now here, you can see here, this is what exactly the country. Now here, we are maintaining the index-based currency and the hard currency over here. Very, very important here. We are maintaining the index-based currency and the hard currency. So if I go to the index-based currency, as I told you that inflation rates is going to be very, very high. And the index-based currency is stipulated for external reporting. What is an external reporting? External reporting is nothing but which we maintain for the P&L account. So which will be used for the P&L account and balance sheet, which we are going to be declaring our financial statements to the stakeholders. Okay. So external reporting is nothing but FI. Internal reports will be there. External is nothing but your company code. And internal reports are only for the management information purpose, which we are not going to be discussed. That is nothing but which we are not going to reveal to any other. That is only for the management, for the decision-making purpose, we are going to be using that. So this is for the external reporting purpose, for example, for tax return in some countries with high inflation rates, with some countries where the high inflation rates are going to be defined. So we are going to be using this currency key of index-based currency type. And there is one more currency also, which we call it as the hard currency. This is also same for the same currency which are going to be inflation rate. It is the hard currency used for the countries with the high inflation rates over here. So one is for the external, one is for the high inflation rates we are going to be using. So normally when we are going to be using, when the currencies types are defined where the inflation rates are going to be very, very high, then we are going to be defining the index-based currency and the hard currency. So here, when you come here as a third local currency, it is somebody can ask me a question like this. Is it a mandatory that, Mahesh, tell me that, is it a mandatory that we need to maintain all these three currency types for a company code, or is it enough for me if I go and define only one? First one is called as a local currency and the second one is going to be called as a group currency. Is it a mandatory that I need to define the 40 or 50 for my company code? So here, if you see here, for example, I am going to be using as a USD. USD is nothing but my hard currency. It is not a mandatory, it is an additional currency which can be used for your reporting purposes. It is only for the reporting purposes. But the first company code, first currency type is very, very important for your posting of the transaction. And the remaining two additional currencies are only for the reporting purpose only for to see the reports. That is very, very important. So when I come and see over here, this is the currency settings which we are maintaining at the company code level. I'll tell you, we will have a class on the hard currency and index-based currency in the detail. I'll go and discuss about that because we are going to discuss about more into that. Okay, what we are going to be discussing here. Now, just go back, one step back, and I'll come to the currency types. Okay, see here, currencies, check currency codes. Now here, these all are going to be called as a currency codes over here. Okay, these all are going to be called as the currency codes. Now, for example, correct, 1 second, sir, 1 second. So I'm coming to the same Cambodia. So their currency code, actually, according to the local currency code, is going to be called as the KHR, which is going to be called as the Cambodian reals. Okay, so we are going to be defining. Okay, now when I'm selecting and when I'm going into the detail over here. So here, this is the currency code. This is what exactly the currency code we are going to be defining, and this is I'm not making it as a primary currency code. Actually, what is the primary currency code? Everything okay. In the discussion we are going to be coming. So you may use several SAP currency keys for the same ISO code to ensure your unique assignment of ISO code to the country key. One of the SAP currency keys must be selected as the primary currency key for the ISO code. If the assignment between the SAP key and the currency code, do you need to select this? Okay, so I'll discuss more into that. What is the primary key and what is the secondary key? Also very, very important. Okay. So this is my currency code. This currency code, we never, if I go and see at my company, at my country level, we never assign any country to the currency code. If you see here, I define the currency code as an independent level. There is no currency, there is no country here. If you see here, there is no country where I'm going to be defining which country this currency code is going to be belong to me. Never. But only the assignment which is going to be telling. Now there is a certification question to all of you. We never assign the currency codes to any of the country. Very, very important, my dear friend. This is the point where we have to be very careful. Most of the people will do the wrong in the certification. If I come to the currency, if I come to the countries, if I come to the KH, which is called as a Cambodia. Here, if I see the country, here nowhere we are going to be assigning the currency code. Here, if you see here, there is no assignment of currency code over here. Countries are independent component and the currency codes are going to be independent component. But when you are defining a company and the company codes, very, very important. But when you are defining the company and the company code, so I'll come from here. If I come to the enterprise structure, if I come to the definition, same concept I'm explaining here, okay? If I come to the company code, if I see my company code, okay, which is going to be called as 1,000, I'm taking the company code for example. Now here, there is an assignment is there between the country and the currency we are going to be defining here. If, and you can ask me this question also, Mahesh, if the country is US, is it a mandatory that I need to take the USD instead of taking the euro? Question is going to be like that. Is it a mandatory that if my country is a US, is it mandatory that I should take only the USD currency? Or I can take any other currency for the company code assignment? Yes, it is not a mandatory that if I take in the country DE means it is the Germany, the currency code should be defaulted with euro. No, you can take USD, you can take INR, you can take any other currency also. This is what exactly the relationship between the country and the currency code you are going to be defining while you're creating the company codes. So if my SAP has given the assignment, if I go back and see, if the SAP has given the assignment, if I go and see if my country is a Cambodia, if my currency code is going to be something like KHR, then there is a restriction there, then I need to use only that KHR for the Cambodian country, not for any other currency. But in SAP, there is no assignment between the country and the currency codes. Is it clear to all of you? Any doubts in this statement, please? Very, very important certification question it is. Any doubts here between the currency and the country code? So when I check here, so this is my SAP ECC, first currency, second currency, and the third currency. Only 3 currencies can be defined. Now in SAP S/4HANA also, this is what exactly when I'm posting a transaction in SAP F5 for a company code. Where when you're posting a transaction, so whenever I would like to post any transactions in SAP, all the F5 transactions are posted at a company code level, and where they are going to be saved, they are going to be saved in 2 tables. One is going to be calling it as a BKPF, another one is going to be called as the BSEC table. BSEC table, very, very important. BSEC table will contain the line item details, and the BKPF contain the header details. So BKPF contain the header details. So this first currency and the second currency and the third currency, we are going to be defining. We are defining for a company code at the BSEC level. Because all the line items will go and store in the BSEC level. Now, in SAP S/4HANA, when you come to the SAP S/4HANA, as we are going to be calling it as a single source of truth. Now we are going to be calling it as a single source of truth. Now we have a new setting in SAP S/4HANA, which we call it as central. Very, very important. Central currency configuration. Central currency configuration. Very, 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 very important. Now, in SAP S/4HANA, we don't have the setting of currency settings like this. Now, this is the old one we are going to be using in SAP ECC. In SAP ECC, this is at the company code level, because when I call it at the company code level, normally all the transactions will go and store at the BSEC level only. Okay. Now we are coming out with a new central currency configuration. Now this new central currency configuration is defined at 2 different levels. One is we are going to be assigning the currencies one is at the ledger level, and the second one is we are going to be maintaining at a company code level. Please make a note of this. This is very, very important now. Now all the currencies are defined at ledger and the company code level. Now we call it as a central currency configuration in SAP S/4HANA. So there is a confusion is there when I call it as the central currency configuration. This central currency configuration we are going to be maintaining for the table which is going to be called as Universal General Entry Table, which is called as ACDOCA table.
One point, Mahesh.
Yes, sir.
As there is no ledger thing in the ECC, at that time they defined only one place. But here in S4HANA, we have ledger also, one more column or
Excellent.
field.
Yes, sir.
That is the reason we need to do it in both the two places.
Good question, sir. In SAP ECC also we have the ledger concept, sir. SAP ECC also we have a concept called as the leading ledger and the non-leading ledgers. Yes, in SAP ECC also it is available. But when you come to the assignment of currency types, the currency types are only assigned at the company code level, not at the ledger level. Earlier in SAP ECC. In SAP ECC. Earlier also we have the leading ledger and the non-leading ledgers. So leading ledgers are going to be defined and everything we are going to be defining with the non-leading ledgers. But when you come to the currency settings, when you come and do the additional currency local company code settings, actually this has to be done at the company code level, not at the ledger level. Now, in SAP S4HANA, as a new GL is a mandatory. I'll tell you when we come to the SAP S4HANA with the SAP General Ledger Accounting, we have to discuss two important points: classic GL and the new GL. I'll tell you very, very important things. Okay, so now we are bringing a new table in SAP S4HANA actually. So earlier, what is happening, sir? These are the FI tables. Earlier in SAP ECC, these are the two are going to be called as FI tables for the General Ledger. This is for the General Ledger, and we have a separate set of tables for the controlling. CO also we have a separate set of tables which we call it as a COBK, and COEP is the line item level table. COBK is the header table and the COEP is the line item table. This is for the controlling. And we have asset accounting also. We have a concept called as asset accounting. Example, I'm taking all these things. Asset accounting. So when you come to the asset accounting, it is a separate module actually. It is also going to be called as a separate module. So ANEK is the header table, and there are several line item level tables. So several are there. ANEP, ANEA, ANF. Okay, so there are different separate line item tables. These are the line item tables for the asset accounting. Now earlier, when you go back to your SAP ECC, we have to define the currency settings at the GL level, that is at the company code level. We need to define the currency settings at the controlling area level. We need to define the currency settings at the asset accounting level. Now, what we are going to do here, now all the transactions, even if it is a GL, it will go and store in one table. If it is a controlling actuals, it will go and store in one table. If it is asset accounting, it's same table. If it is a COPAS, same table. If it is a metal ledger, so totally there are 5 components. Here I taken only 3 components. Totally there are 5 components are there. Earlier, all these 5 components are independent with the currency settings. Now I am bringing all these 5 components postings into one table. Earlier,
Yeah,
we have
sense.
Yes. Earlier, if I come to GL, it will go and store in BSEC table. If I come to the controlling, it will go and store in the COEP table. If I go and come to the asset accounting, it will go and store in the ENEP table. Now in SAP S4HANA, what is SAP is telling that now all the simplifications have been done. All the 5 components, whatever the 5 components you're posting, now I'm posting at the AC DOCA table level. Now this central currency configuration I am making at the universal general entry table level. This is what exactly I call it as the AC DOCA.
That is the reason they are calling central currency.
Exactly. Clear, sir? Now, doubt is clear?
Yeah. Thank you.
So now this central currency configuration, central currency configuration is maintained at the AC DOCA table at 2 different levels. One is at the ledger and the company code combination. Ledger and the company code combination. So if I come to my SAP S4HANA, this setting, whatever you do, this additional local currencies. Why we call it as additional local currency? Because the first currency is always with the defaulted with the 10, and we have only 2 additional currencies. One is the second currency, another one is the third currency. Earlier in SAP ECC, but now in SAP, if I want to use the same transaction, this is the same transaction. If I want to use the same transaction in SAP S4, and the system will give an error message that this transaction is no more available in SAP S4HANA. My dear friends, very, very important here. So I'll go to the SAP S4HANA now. This is the SAP S4HANA. I'll come to my financial accounting. Same financial accounting, global settings, ledger, field, okay, ledger. Now we have come out with a new setting called as defined settings for the ledger and the currency types. See the path. See the path here. I'm coming to the same path here. Okay, so when I come to the same path here, Financial accounting new. Here also I'm coming to the financial accounting with the financial accounting global settings. I'll tell you what is the new financial accounting global settings. Here I'm coming to the ledgers, same ledgers, and here ledger. But here, if I see here, now you are defining the additional currency. There is a separate setting is there actually. We are going to be defining. Here we are defining the ledgers. Here we are defining the ledgers, leading ledgers and the non-leading ledgers for the total tables actually, which is going to be calling it as the total table. Earlier we have this table, FAGL, FLE, XT. XT is nothing but total tables. It is going to be called as the total tables. Now in SAP S/4HANA, the difference is very, very huge. Now all these are completely eliminated in SAP S/4HANA. This particular, if you see the difference, see that. Now we have only 3 levels of defining the currency and the ledger. One is define settings for the ledger and the currency types. Deactivate a ledger for a company code. If you want to deactivate, already I created a ledger. I want to deactivate, and you can create the ledger group. But here, if you see here, now these settings have been completely changed. Now we are bringing out with all this have been simplified into 3 navigation paths on. Now here, there is a new currency settings are there, which we call it the defined settings for the ledgers and the currency types. Now this no more, we don't have this defined currencies of the leading ledger. Now we came out with a new path called as a defined settings. So there is a, what is the transaction code for this particular transaction? FINS_ledger. Now I'm coming. This will take nearly up to 5 to 6 classes. Only the explanation about this ledger with the currency types and everything, it will take up to minimum 5 classes. Very, very important classes. This is the complete heart. This is the complete backbone for SAP S/4HANA in ECC to SAP S/4HANA. Now, I think most of the people, I think you are downloaded on the simplification list. All of you downloaded, started reading of the simplification list. If you come to the simplification list in the page number 267, in the page number 267, we have called as currencies in the universal journal entry. So please, my dear friends, this is very, very important for us to know about this. So what is the simplification? Somebody can tell me what is the simplification list? Why I should refer for the simplification list? As an SAP consultant, why should I refer for a simplification list? Why should I know about the simplification list? Tell me, somebody. Tell me what is
the migration process.
What's that?
Doing the migration process.
So it is not only, it's not a compulsory about knowing about the time of migration, sir. Even if a consultant, if they have been assigned to a project for a greenfield implementation or any project, I have done about 6 to 7 implementations in SAP ECC, sir. Example, let us take an example. I have done so many implementations in SAP, pharma company, for my automobiles, food and beverages, insurance, banking, like that. I have implemented so many. I have worked with so many clients. Okay, so now when the same Rahul, when he has been assigned to a new project in SAP S/4HANA now, I am very good at SAP ECC. Everything I know in SAP ECC, GL, AR, AP, asset accounting, everything. But when I have been assigned myself to a new project called as SAP S/4HANA, frankly, very, very important. This is the very, very important. Rahul has to know the difference between the SAP ECC to SAP S/4HANA first of all. What simplifications have been happened. Now, if I, for example, if I see this simplification, earlier the transactions are posting each and every component level. Now in SAP S/4HANA, we are telling that now these components are no more available. Now there will be only one transaction which is going to be triggered to one table. If you are posting the GL posting will go and hit to this particular table. If you're posting a controlling, the controlling documents will go and store in the same table. If I'm posting an asset accounting, the same transactions will go into the same table. Like for example, earlier we are seeing the different tables. Now all these tables have been eliminated. Now the SAP has brought only one line item level table called as AC docker. This is one of the simplification. This is one of the simplification which has been done in SAP S/4HANA. Like that, in every process, what are all the simplifications? In which process the SAP has done the simplification? This simplification guide is going to help us to know about before we assign to the project. So every consultant, every student has to know what is the simplification list and how to go through the simplification list. So if I come back and see here, this is the simplification list, what I'm going. I'll also give the 1909. Okay. Now, this is 1809. So now today we are discussing about 1909. So what are the difference? What simplifications further the SAP has done between 1809 to 1909? Everybody, are you getting my points or not? What simplification? So I came out from, so there are so many versions are there. So I came out, okay, I'm hearing SAP S4HANA from 1610. I also gone through 17, okay, 1709. I also gone through 1809. Now we are talking about, today we are talking about 1909. We are talking about 1909, means SAP S4HANA is not a subject of 1909. It is already been discussed with 1610, 1709, 1809. Now I would like to know the difference. What simplification? So 1610 has come out with a SAP S4HANA. First SAP S4HANA release came out with 1511 actually. So I'm just maintaining this. So first SAP S4HANA came out with 1511. 1511 is the first SAP S4HANA release. So when a client or when you take any consultant, actually when he is very good in SAP ECC, when he has given a project in 1511, so he has to know the simplifications between the ECC to SAP S4HANA 1511. So in ECC, I came across several tables. Now in SAP S4HANA, I'm doing about AC Doka table. Now, what is the difference between 1510 to 1610? SAP has came out with 1610. How do I know what simplifications have been done further from the 1511 to 1610? What simplifications have been done from the further from 1610 to 1710, 1710 to 1909, 1809 to today we are in the world of 1909. Means
Sir?
every year SAP is doing some simplifications. Means SAP is reducing some data structures. It is removing some processes and it is simplifying the processes. Where I can come across all these things.
Question, please.
Sir?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, when we are first time they are existing client is using SAP ECC, but now current one is 1909. Then you mean to say that we need to start the migration process from 1511, then 1610, then
No.
1709.
No. I'm giving one example. No, not like that. So just
it is
I
not
give
like
an
that,
example.
right?
No, you can directly ECC to
Directly
you can
come to,
directly
yeah,
to
that is my
1909.
concern. Okay.
You can go to 1909. So I'm just sequentially I'm just putting the order like that.
Okay.
So
If it is going one by one step, it is a lot of work.
No, not like that. Okay, just I given one example here.
Okay, thank you.
SAP ECC customer and existing SAP customer directly he can go and do the conversion to ECC to SAP S4HANA. Either he can go with 1909 or 1809, 1709. It depends upon their requirement. So the latest version in SAP market we are running out with 1909. That's all.
Okay, thank you.
Now the customer wants to know the simplifications have been happened between SAP ECC to SAP S4HANA with 1909 or 1809. So this is the simplification list. This is what exactly the simplification list. We call it as a simplification list. So you can also download from the SAP Service Marketplace. Okay, this is not a rocket science or something like for a particular consultant this document will be given. No, it is something like it's a universal. Anybody can download at any time. Tomorrow also I'll show how to download all the documents. Now this is the simplification list. If I open the 1909, I would like to know from the introduction point of view, from the cross application point of view, or from the master data point of view, or from the commercial project. Okay, something like commodity management, so service management, enterprise, financial. Generally, this is related to the financial accounting, and something like we have other modules also. Like if we come down, if we can see other modules also, human resources, nothing but HR. What simplifications are done in HR? What simplifications done in the logistics? Like this, environmental health and safety. Like this, for every module. Here we can see that some contents over here where what are all the simplifications have been done. Now, in the same process, when I come to my finance, from here, from where? from the chapter number 8, where we call it as the general, okay, from this page number 161, here the simplifications have been started over here. Now we are discussing about the currency settings. So where is exactly here? So if I just come down to my general ledger accounting, here there is a chapter number 13.4, currencies in universal general. Currencies in universal general. If I click on it, now I would like to know earlier what are the currency settings and today what simplifications have been done. Earlier I know that where I can do the currency settings, additional currency settings, where I need to define. There is one company code currency, there are 2 additional currencies earlier in SAP system, but now in SAP S4, how we have to do that. That is what exactly, first of all, I want to know the currency settings in universal general entry. So what is telling that? You are doing a new installation. New installation is nothing but which is called as a greenfield implementation. You are doing a new installation SAP S4 on a system conversion, anything. Either you are doing a new greenfield implementation if he's a new customer. So directly I can propose him to go for 1909 as a greenfield implementation. If he's already an existing customer, existing means already he has started the journey with SAP ECC. Now he want to move to the SAP S4HANA. So this is what exactly we call it as a conversion. Actually, we call it as a conversion. What is a conversion? Converting your kernel level software, that is your application, ECC application to SAP S4HANA application is called as a conversion actually. So either it is a greenfield implementation or a system conversion to SAP S4. All currency configurations can be migrated to the universal general of SAP S4HANA. What is the universal general entry? The universal general entry table is going to be calling it as the AC DOCA table. From today onwards, there is only one line item level table, which is called as AC DOCA table. AC DOCA is nothing but accounting document actuals. AC is nothing but accounting document. A stands for actuals. So only actuals will be go and store in this particular table. Means in SAP, we have different data. We have the plan data, we have commitment data, we have different types of data will be there, actual data, everything. But this AC DOCA table will be taken only for the actual. For the planning, for the commitments, there are remaining tables are there, but only for actuals, we are going to be taking AC DOCA. Earlier, for the GL, it is BSEG. Earlier, for the controlling, it is COEP. But now, we have only one table called as AC DOCA, which we call it as a universal journal entry table. Now, I'll come to different. This is what exactly the SAP is giving us.
Mahesh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, one more question based on that simplification documents. Can you go back there, please? The list where you, not this one, the versions where you draw the boxes, right? Yeah, here. Okay, only my concern is we have each and every version, okay? We have one simplification, right? Exactly. When we are going, is it a 1909 is a consolidation of everything? Or is it only the difference between 1809 to 1909? What it contains?
It's a consolidation between everything here. So whatever the versions we have earlier, so if I come and go through 1909, I can come to the latest version, which is already consolidated. Means I no need to refer any kind of
right.
earlier one.
If that,
I can directly refer
we are going to, when we want to go directly SAP ECC to 1909, it should be consolidated one. If it is not consolidated, then it would be a problem.
But you should ask one more question to me. Wow, what the question means? Mahesh, okay. Now, okay. Yeah, 1909 is the consolidation. Okay, latest one we are talking about, which is going to be called as the 1909 is the consolidation. So no need to refer any kind of simplification list of earlier one. But
right. Yeah, I have a question. What is that?
Exactly. Now, as a curiosity, Mahesh, can you please let me know? Now you are talking about 1809. Okay, right. Very good. 1809. And today we are talking about 1909. 1909. Now, how do I know that? How do I know that? Okay. How do I know that? What changes, what further simplifications have been done between 1809 to 1909 only?
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah,
valid point, sir?
when it is somebody is already on 1809, then
Exactly.
going to 1909, that is important.
Now, already Mahesh has already done one greenfield implementation in 1909. Now, today he has got a new project in 1909, sir. So, Ganesh, so whenever a consultant by name of Ganesh or Suresh or John or anybody, or even me, Mahesh, anybody who has got a very good experience in 1909, but today he has given a new project in 1909. He don't know. He was very good at 1809 and he is aware about what are the simplifications are there in 1809. But when the same person, when Mahesh wants to know the simplifications in 1909, he will not go and study this all the simple because he knows everything. But he want to know the delta changes between 1809 to 1909. So what he has to refer? So what Mahesh will do here, Mahesh simply he will go to the document which is going to be calling it as WN document will be there, which is called as WN. What's new in SAP S4 HANA 1909. He will refer to this book. He will refer to this material. WN document, which we call it as a what new in SAP S4 HANA 1909. If you open this material, if we go through this particular document, it will only show the differences between 1809 to 1909.
Good, thank you.
Clear, sir? No? So, how does that what's new document look like? See here, this it will look like this. Okay. See here. For example, I'll show one what's new document. Okay, see here. Yes, see here. For example, okay. So I know what is the okay, example here. There's one document with me, or I think I have the 1809. No, I don't have the 1809. I download and I'll give it to you. Don't worry about that. Now, if I come to 1709, for example, I have only one document. Okay, I'll download other documents. WN OP is nothing but on premise. Now, when I open this document, this is called as what's new in SAP S4 and 1709. Example. I'm very good at 1610, but I don't know what are the changes have been happened in 1610 to 1709. So now I need to come and refer this particular material. This material will tell you about the changes between 1610 to 1709. So if I go and see from the finance side here, from the finance side, what improvements further they have done, you can see here. So they have done the improvements from the financial planning and analysis. Okay, in the final plan, what contents are there. So like this, I can only refer these particular things. No need to refer the simplification because I know what simplifications have been done in 1610. But in 1709, I can go and refer this particular material. Okay. These simplifications further they have done. Okay, in the general ledger assets under construction investment order, if I go over here, so what they're telling here, earlier this was available. Now there is a new app has come in the Fiori. Okay, very good, very good. Like that, I can come to know about something about the importance of that. So that is what exactly we call it as versions. So this simplification list is very, 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 very important. Now, you are doing a new installation or SAP S4 and a conversion to SAP S4 HANA now. Now it is telling that, okay, 1 second, sir. So how many of you are going through the simplification list? Very, very important actually. So I'll give the simplification list. Okay, I'll download it. Tomorrow also I'll show how to download the simplification list. Okay, it's a very easy. It will not take even 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, so I'll show how to download and how to refer these materials, everything. Now here, this is in the SAP ECC. In a business suite, when we call it as SAP business suite, is the SEC, they use it to set up to 3 parallel currencies. That just now we discussed the same thing now. This is in SAP ECC. How many parallel currency we define in FI? Only 3 parallel currencies. That's what exactly now we discussed about that. Okay, if I come here, one is the first currency. Second one is going to be called as the 2 additional currencies are there. First additional currency and the second additional currency. That is at the FI level. Only 3 currencies earlier in SAP ECC. That is what exactly 3 parallel currency for FI table. Work where the currencies will go and store. This is the table. And what is the transaction I'm using? OB22 is the transaction earlier. OB22. And 2 parallel currencies for the controlling. 3 for FI earlier, this is I'm talking in SAP ECC. Same thing I'm putting, whatever the diagram I'm putting here, the same thing now I'm explaining in the documentation level. So in SAP ECC, 3 parallel currencies for FI and 2 parallel currencies for controlling. So when I go to the table, this is the table T001. Okay, now I'll go to the table now. Okay, now I will open. Where is the currency setting? This is the currency settings. Sorry, this is not. This is my currency setting earlier in SAP ECC. This is my currency settings. 3 parallel currencies. One is the first currency, second currency, and the third local currency. This is for FI. FI means company code. So all the data will go and store in one table. What is the table? The table name is going to be called a T001A, currency table actually. When you come to the controlling will be having only 2 parallel currencies. That is CO currency. If we go to the OKKP, we will come to understand, I'll tell you. The currencies of non-leading ledger were subset of currencies of the leading ledger. I'll tell you what is the non-leading ledger and leading ledger. One of the CO currency needs to be a local currency, but it was not necessary that currency CO is configured. I'll tell you. Okay, now this is in SAP ECC, but now in SAP S4 HANA. Now we are coming to the SAP S4 HANA. Now we don't have this transaction code anymore in SAP S4 HANA. Now OB22 is the transaction code we are using in SAP ECC, but now in SAP S4 HANA, we came out with a new transaction code called as FinSec_ledger. FinC_ledger is the new transaction code where we are going to be calling with a new universal journal entry and the common line item table AC DOCA for FI and CO. There is a central currency configuration, which we call it as now we are discussing today. Central currency configuration for which table? We are doing it for the AC DOCA table. But earlier, this is not the central currency configuration. We are for FI, we are doing a separate currency configuration. For controlling, we are doing a separate currency configuration like that, but not in case of SAP S4 HANA, because now all the postings are going to be triggered to one table. Now all the FI CO, there is only one currency central configuration for the universal journal entry, as the currency configuration depends upon the universal journal ledgers. Yes, earlier, the currency configuration setting is at the company code level only. But now in SAP S4 HANA, now the currency configuration settings or depends upon the universal general ledgers. There is a combination view for the cluster of ledgers, I'll tell you, in the transaction code called as FinSec_ledger. Now, if I go to the same FinSec_ledger, this is what exactly I call the FinSec_ledger. Now, these are going to be called as the ledgers. Now, if I open any company code, now you can see multiple are there. Local currency, global currency, freely defined, 8 freely defined currencies are there from today onwards. Now you can use it for the reporting purpose. Earlier, we have only 3 parallel currencies, but now if you see here, 2. One is going to be called as local currency, global currency, and 8 freely defined currencies are there. This is what exactly the new configuration in SAP S4 HANA. If I go to OB22, old one, OB22, old transaction code, what the system is telling me, now it is asking me, don't use the old transaction code, use the transaction code FinSec_ledger to your currency settings. If I done any conversion from the SAP ECC to SAP S4 HANA, if I want to do any changes in the currency settings, now OB22 is no more available in SAP S4 HANA. Now the new transaction has come where you can do the currency settings called as FinSec_ledger. Earlier we have the OB22. Now today we don't have this OB22 transaction no more in SAP S4 HANA. So guys, very, very important. Tomorrow we are going to be discussing very important topics from tomorrow. As I told you that it will take 5 classes minimum to explain about all this universal general entry table, because we need to discuss what is the ledger, what is the leading ledger, what is the non-leading ledger, okay, what is the universal general entry table. It will take up to 5 to 6 classes. So tomorrow onwards, very, very important classes are going to be discussing tomorrow. Any doubts in the today's session? Any doubts in the today's session?
Do we have a class tomorrow? We
Yes,
do,
sir.
right?
And we do have such because a lot of cancel, lot of holidays are coming. So we